What you're looking at here is the single biggest reason why people seem to upgrade their battery systems from a classic AGM system to a lithium. It's got everything you need to tax a 12-volt system. It's got a pump, heating element, the like. So in this video, we're going to run through why I decided to do it, how I did it, not having to twist one wire, solder one wire, just basically had a system that was all eventually plug and play. No DIY. And we're going to give a couple of things away on the way. So look out for the code word, be put in the description below in a sentence. Also, Kickass have given us a discount code so you can get 10% off their products. Just the details are down below as well. And first off, I'm probably going to get something a bit stronger. Whew. Wow. All right, I'm not going to start telling you the difference between AGMs and lithiums. Honestly, it's been done to death. If you want to find out, jump online on YouTube and do a search. Here, the traveling wanderer, and I'm going to show you the difference between an AGM and a lithium and everything in between, and at the same time show you my setup in my caravan. I can already see a problem over there with your setup, mate. Where? That's the toilet hatch. Look, my journey started years ago into the dual battery, and I started here with the yellow top, a 55 amp unit, and it was a great battery. It just died early on me because I just didn't treat it well. I didn't charge it enough when it wasn't being used, drained it quite low. I just abused it too much, and obviously its life ended early because I didn't look after it. So then I moved into a 100 amp hour one here, went down a battery wheel, got it off the shop floor, hasn't missed a beat. Obviously it lasts a bit longer than this one. It's 55, this is 100. This will run the fridge for days, runs all my camp lights, everything 12 volt in the four drive, radios, all that kind of stuff I run off a second battery, just not to drain the start battery. And but I was always leaning towards doing a few more 240 volt applications within the vehicle. All right, so here it is. We have a custom 204 amp hour lithium battery with a 250 amp BMS in it. It's capable of running up to a 3000 watt inverter and was made custom by these guys down here. But how did I arrive at such a big battery and why? I had to start taking into consideration things like how often am I using the 12 volt system in the four drive, and can I justify an upgrade for occasional use? And honestly, it wasn't justifiable. I couldn't justify enough usage out of a system like this to warrant an upgrade. So I started looking around at how I can incorporate this into my life a bit more, and I realized making the system portable so that I can take it into the work vehicle and take it with me every day. I can now run the coffee machine, travel buddy, console fridge, and make it fully portable and save money just on coffees. Like $5 for a coffee every day, if you're buying coffees, it's $25 a week. That's $100 a month. So you start making some savings. So that was a positive. And then I justified it with the weight saving. This thing's heavier than this. This has less amps than this. So once again, there's a positive. And just turning it from an occasional usage to a daily usage really helped justify actually doing an upgrade. I hate wires, exposed terminals, plastic boxes with batteries sitting in them and ratcheted down the back of the car. I hate it. Just the thought of all that sort of stuff, relays and switches and crap sitting everywhere, or a box on the wall with the switches and everything on display. It drives me insane. And then the thought of having to then unbolt all this and lift it out and put it into the other car and bolt wire it back up was just doing my head in. It was just crazy. So before you go out online or wherever you go for your batteries and buy one and bring it home and hope to chuck it in, stop. Just stop right there. Start your journey for your new battery with an email. Email your preferred supplier, whether it be Solar for RV or somebody else online, and outline your specific requirements of your current 12 volt setup and where you'd like to be. So list them, the 12 volt lights, travel buddies, that kind of stuff. And then the wish list, I'd like to run this coffee machine or this item here or this item here, charge some batteries. And items like coffee machines are a really good high drawing unit that will size your system because they have heating elements and pumps and that kind of stuff in them, hair dryers, anything like that. They're a really good way to tax your 12 volt system. So you can send all that information off and they can come back and price the whole unit. And this is what I ended up with. I ended up with a custom lithium battery inside the box. Now, it's not a battery like this with terminals, it's actually the lithium battery in here, and you don't open this up. Inside is a 250 amp BMS, and it's a 204 amp hour battery. So it just has an on-off switch, so you can isolate the whole system. On the front here it has some outlets, so we've got some cigarette lighters, plugs, we've got some USB plugs, that kind of stuff. I'm going to open it up there and there. And on the other side here we have a 175 amp outlet. Now no fusing whatsoever on that. Okay, runs through the battery management system, but there's no fusing. And then we've got 4 Anderson 50 amp outlets, but they have auto fuses inside. So if we have a short or overload, they automatically turn off, unplug, reset. There's no wiring or anything, and it will run again. The unit also has with the BMS, has a Bluetooth function, so you can connect it to your smartphone and look at all the information coming with the battery, so output, charging, that kind of stuff. And it's so much better than the exposed terminals I have, I'll tell you right now. Come on, let me wire something. I know what you're saying, how are we going to charge this unit? And we decided to go with a DCDC Charger. Now, I could have saved some cash and used the original Red Arc one I have in the 4 drive, but honestly, I haven't used one of these before. I really wanted to give it a go, and this isn't going to be mounted in an engine bay or anything like that, was the Red Arc units and some of the other ones where they've got the wires hanging out the end. They can be mounted in some other environments, whereas this one just wants to be pretty much inside the vehicle or canopy. And the other reason I went with it is because it has terminals right here, not a bunch of wires hanging out that I've then got to join and solder or build a big box with it mounted and all the connections in behind and some switches and stuff. Don't have the room for that. I didn't want to do that, so I decided to go down this path and give it a go. And introducing the inverter I chose a 2000 watt inner drive unit. Pretty simple. It's got a couple of fans in the back, positive, negative terminal on the back. The front, it has 2 outlets and an on-off switch over here. And you can also plug a remote switch into it. So you can have this tucked away, and the switch is a bit more handy. You can flick it on, unit starts up, already have your 240 volt stuff plugged in, off you go. I didn't want to go with a 3000 watt, didn't see the point, didn't have anything that I needed to run. This will easily do the coffee machine and the appliances I intend to use, as well as charging batteries and other equipment. So that's why we went with the 2000, not the 3000. Leads, leads, leads. Now, if you think you're going to go home and start wiring your 12 volt inputs, outputs with bits of scrap you got laying around, you're probably going to be able to do it. But if you want to do a proper job, and especially when you're coming to the inverters, and you're going to need some more heavy duty cable, I mean, really, have you got 70mm flex just laying at home, the lugs, a crimping tool? I mean, by the time you go and buy like the resin heat shrink and all that kind of stuff, you're just wasting money. You're just spending money because you're buying in small amounts. So I suggest what you do is once again, you jump online, maybe speak to your manufacturer that may do this kind of stuff, and ask if they can make you up some leads. So on this unit here, we've got this set up here for the inverter, and you can choose any length you want. And all we've got to do is just bolt that on the back. It does come with a fuse, because remember, this outlet's not fused, so the inverter itself comes with an inline fuse. So you get your lead, you ask them to make it enough of a gap for the fuse. So there's your lead, and you can plug it in. So that's the inverter leads covered. And here we've got 3 leads, Anderson on one end, cable, and lugs fitted to each end. So all we can do is now just start bolting them onto the terminals, and we're going to have a plug and play system. So here we go. All right, pretty easy. Snap off the cover, undo your screws. First one's for ignition, so we don't need that on this one here. And you just take your screws out one by one. Start the battery positive, battery negative lead. Grab your leads, pre-made leads. As I said, no pliers, no soldering, nothing on this one. Simple as that. Someone's already made the leads for us. One. Now your DCDC charger is going to charge the unit when the crank battery is plugged in. We do the same for the inverter. So once we've bolted it on, we can just plug it in and mount it all up. So you might decide that, like me, this is going to be quite close, so we're going to tile this in nice and close. But if there's a bit more distance, you mount it all up where you want it, use a bit of string to measure your length, and then go off and get it cut and manufactured for you, and you can come back and just bolt it up. Plug and play. So here you have the unit fully set up, plugged in. The inverter is plugged into the battery, the DC to DC charger is plugged into the battery, and the DC to DC charger is plugged into the vehicle to gain charge. The solar is not being used at the moment, but we have a spare lead for it. And bear in mind that these will be mounted to a draw system within the vehicle, so that'll be mounted, and they're all pretty close. If they were further away, you'd get the leads made longer. And I know what you're thinking, you're like, but I've still got to run a cable to the main battery, so I've got to need wiring, I'm going to have to crimp things and strip things and pull cables. Not really. Well, this is what we got. Kick-ass. A already made lead set for your dual battery system. So the whole thing comes with Anderson at both ends, cable, and a few bits and pieces, so that you can run the cable from the rear of your vehicle all the way to the engine bay. It has an Anderson plug, and then you can terminate onto the battery, and then you can plug them together once you've terminated the other end. Open the box up here and we'll show you what's inside quickly. And this is what we're giving away. So if you grab the code word from the video, chuck it down below in the description, try and put maybe a bit of put it into a sentence, not just a code word, it's a bit boring. Put in a sentence, and you'll go in your chance to win this product. Also remember, we've got a 10% discount code down below for any of their other products. So in the bag, just comes with a packet of bits and pieces. So it's got looks like it's got an Anderson plug. It's got a dust cap for your Anderson. So if you've got it's going to be, say, you could use this for, say, the caravan plug on the back of the car. So you've got a dust cap, or if it's going to be in a dusty environment, you can cap that off. Comes with another Anderson, probably so if you actually have to cut something off and resolder it. Has a spare fuse and some other crimps and bits and pieces. So I guess that if you want to, or have to shorten the cable, you can re-terminate yourself. And the unit comes with, of course, cable ties and the cable itself. So as we said, we've got a piece for the engine bay that goes onto your battery, inline fuse, and an Anderson. Now remember, don't get excited, run this cable in, plug this up and bolt it on, because the actual cable has an Anderson at one end, but it has bare terminals at the other. So the idea is that you're going to run probably this through the car and then plug it in the other end. So you're going to slip on your Anderson, plug it on, and then when you get to the rear vehicle, you can just plug this sucker in, and now we have power to our unit in our vehicle. And once again, we don't have to twist any wires, just had to undo a couple of terminals and bolt some stuff on. But don't forget, there's a code word to win this. Chuck it down below in the description. And I'll tell you right now, if I'm going to be just trying to take this portable unit down to, say, the beach with the fridge or something like that by the river, I'm not carrying that down. I'd probably go ahead and use the Slade International power supply. It runs 9.6 amps, will run anything, run your fridge for hours and hours, that kind of stuff. So I guess that in your vehicle, you're going to have some 12-volt systems that aren't going to come out with this when you go to use it. So, you know, here's a bit of DIY for you. Go get yourself a fuse block with a neutral bar on it as well, and an Anderson lead with some eyelets already on it. And all you got to do is you can do all your DIY stuff to your heart's content here. That's some DIY on my second vehicle. Fire. You just connect these on. So then once that's on, you can plug that into your battery when it is in place, and then when you go to actually move the battery into another vehicle, unplug it, and this 12-volt system stays with that current vehicle, and then this one can go into the next one. So you can do DIY to your heart's content when it comes to all your other stuff. Don't really recommend it. I'll tell you, plus you get a professional, fuses, all that kind of stuff, but it's your vehicle, you do what you want. There you have it, the biggest reason why I upgraded my 12-volt system to lithium was to run things like coffee machines. As we said, they've got pumps, heating elements, that kind of stuff. Tax the crap out of your 12-volt system. So we've got the inverter. Also want to charge for other things like batteries and some test equipment we carry. Also, don't forget we're running the prize of the kick-ass leads for your dual battery wiring, grab the code words in the video, chuck it down below in the comments section. Don't just write the code word, it's a bit boring. Maybe put in a sentence, something silly, that kind of stuff. Also, they're offering you guys 10% using the code word down below. There are a few terms and conditions there in the description. Go to their website and check out their stuff. Honestly, with that 10% discount, we're going to go and grab maybe their projector, a few other bits and pieces. As always, like the video if you like it, subscribe, definitely the channel helps us out. Any comments, questions down below, love to answer them, maybe about the battery system or who we got it off, how we dealt with them. They were fantastic. I just gave them a lot of emails to see how they respond, and honestly, they were so professional and fantastic, and credit to them. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you around.